The Shinsen station of the Inokashira line was one stop away from Shibuya. A station it would take hardly 1 minute to arrive via train. The station itself was completely underground, being located in a tunnel, and the only outside light that reached it was a faint amount coming in through the outer exit area at the end of the platform. Now, due to the earthquake, all light fixtures had gone off and was terribly dim, much more so than usual. Aoi Sena stepped onto the platform supporting Orihara Kozui. There had been no need for her to buy a ticket. She didn't spot any station workers anywhere, and the ticket machines were out of service too. There probably aren't any trains. So, when she looked at the tracks, the rails there were visibly warped. Naturally, the trains had been at a standstill since yesterday. Kozuya's left foot was completely bloody. Broken glass had sliced into her during the earthquake. Sena wrapped a towel around it in hopes of stopping the blood, but the depth of the wound surpassed her expectations, and first aid treatment wouldn't be enough by itself. Megalomaniacs couldn't use their power to heal their own wounds. Pain compelled them to be reminded of the reality of their injuries. They couldn't create local shared recognition to the effect of "I'm not wounded." They couldn't make it be as if nothing had happened. Their human instincts wouldn't permit it. No matter how Kozuya whined, looking as if she were about to cry, Sena remained silent. All she had done was focus intensely and wholeheartedly on walking toward the Shinsen station. Upon researching the depopulated platform, Sena abruptly released the hand she had been using to support Kozue. Kozue, who could only stand up one leg, immediately crumpled in place. Kozue looked up in perplexity, but Sena didn't give her a second glance. Glaring at a certain fixed point, she ground her teeth together. Finally. Found you. At the end of her line of sight, a lone human figure was sitting down at the back of the dim platform. Oh, is it her father? I bet so. Called it. I called it. A homeless man, clad in filthy clothing. Man, he held a poster with "People's hearts are perishing" written on it. It's like the one dude, he's like, "The world's gonna end," written on his sign and stuff. Like that stereotypical dude. The world is going to end. Judgment will come upon you. Sena slowly walked towards him. Yeah. Her voice was frigid.
負を生へと変換できる者たちへの遺言だよ。
But his messages were right. All of his messages have come true.
セナ。
The homeless man Hatano kept his head lowered and didn't look at his daughter's face as he spoke evenly, voicing her name.
お前に慣れ慣れしく名前を呼ばれたくない。この半年、ずっと考えてきた。お前をどうやって殺すか。
どうやって殺すだ。
ありがとう。
どうして礼を言う。
利己的な理由だよ。 お前に殺されることが私にとって最善の贖罪かもしれない。
Wow.
そう思っ
それなら話は早い。
Because to me,
お前に殺されることが私にとって最善の贖罪かもしれない。そう思ったからだ。
don't, Senna, don't. Stop it. We need him. The method she had selected to kill her father was cutting him down with her D-sword. Do not do it. In simplicity, in other words, came closest to the truth. There was no meaning in how she killed him. There was meaning in killing him.
すまない。
Well, Atano had yet to raise his face.
どうして謝る？
お前に父殺しの汚名を着せてしまうからだ。
殺せさえすれば、どんな恥ずかしめだって受けてやる。お前は、母さんと妹を殺した。
事実だ。
しかも、あんな、むごい最後。
Senna's voice, which had until then maintained its cool-headedness, all emotions repressed, wavered a tiny bit.
お前には見せたくはなかった。いや、今のは聞き流してくれ。
なぜあんなことを？
過程を説明することは無意味だよ。お前は納得しないし、結果が改変されるわけでもない。
Senna pointed the tip of her D-sword at Hatano's head.
そうやってまた逃げるのか？
間違っていたのは私だ。それが全てなんだ。
お前には、失望した。
まだ期待していたのか。何を。人を含めてそう言ったのはお前だ、セナ。
Everything is an electrical device, even people. You said it yourself, Senna. Senna's shoulders trembled. For close to 3 years since Satana started the mana scheme, two of them had rarely met. Senna was shaken by how, despite this, he had managed to see through her so easily. Discomfited, she attempted to blow away her reason by transforming her internal uncertainty to rage.
セナ、惑わされるな。電気仕掛けならば、お前のその私を恨む感情もまた、ただの電気信号でしかない。
Are you an electrical device? Are we just living inside a simulation? Hatano was pressing at her, so Senna told herself. Calm down.
お前の言葉なんか、無効だ。
あまり感情的な行動をとるな。でなければ、お前は矛盾する。その言葉を受け取ってはいけない。精神攻撃だ。判断を中止するんだ。
話は、終わりだ。
Senna was about to brandish her D-sword. Slightly beforehand, Hatano abruptly stood up. Kozo had been on pins and needles as she watched their exchange, was torn over whether to stop their quarrel, but the pain in her foot made her give up. That wasn't sad, but something wept, sobbing in the depths of her chest. Hatano took a long stride towards Senna. Slow to react, Senna switched to a receiving attack. But as she braced her legs, one of her feet caught on some gravel. Her position crumbled. Unsteadiness entered her movements. Senna's sharp aura was snuffed out. She was frightened. She'd maintained herself by hating her father. But when it came to confronting him, she became afraid to face him. She herself didn't understand why. At least it was certain that her father had said right before and lay at the roof of it. It was certain that what her father had said right beforehand lay at the top, at the root of it. Okay. At the root. Atano came rushing at her with astonishing force. As she fell backwards, she swept her massive D-sword from below. A sword that discarded both gravity and centrifugal force. Its blade began by gouging out the tiles on the platform, then slashed her father's shoulder, cleanly, like a hot knife slicing through butter. Her father's hands sent her flying. Flesh blood danced from his wound. Her father's relieved eyes. Senna bit her lip. Being flown from behind him, something grazed Senna's cheek and vanished. Blood spurted not only from his shoulder, but also from his chest. Scarlet liquid overflowing from his wounds caught Senna on the cheek. A bullet? Shoved away, collapsed on her back. Senna instantly raised her face and looked for the person who had fired a gun. That man stood on the boundary between Shinsen Station Tunnel and the tunnel continuing towards the Shibuya Station. And the crossway that was the sole place from which one could see a white piece of the sky. There was a revolver in his hand. Senna's father toppled over beside her. His upper body was already bloodstained. It can't be. He protected her. Senna stared disbelievingly at the pool of blood spreading across the tiles. Her father mumbled, his breathing feeble. Senna.
そんなお前がとても悲しくそして愛おしいよ
The bullet had been aimed at Senna, and Hatano had taken it instead. She was supposed to have been trying to kill her father, but her father had saved her life. Senna gripped her D-sword harder. An odd sound resounded through the platform. Senna instantly came to the revelation that it was coming from a Noah 2 terminal. How long had this sound been ongoing? She couldn't forgive him. She could never forgive that gun-bearing man whose existence had interfered and kept her and her father from settling things. Boku no Jamao! When she stood up and looked ahead of her, a baby's wails rang out through the dim platform. Senna sensed something out of the place in her hands for some reason in place of his sword. What the fuck? She was what the fuck? She was embracing a rotting, desiccated infant. Bro, this is psychological warfare. She reflexively flung it away from her, but she soon realized it was the little sister she had only seen once before. Sister whose name she did not know, who had been devoured by her mother. The baby before her eyes had gaping bite wounds on it. White bones with pink shreds of flesh clinging to them peeked out from the gaps in its dried out skin. Senna became lost again. She couldn't take her eyes off it. She couldn't forgive herself for throwing her little sister away, for finding her disgusting. It had been the same back then, and she was compelled to watch her mother's last moments. The image of her mother dying in the grip of insanity. Her mother's miserable corpse, his sister's miserable corpse, embraced by their mother, gnawed upon her by their mother. And she was forced to watch it more so than sorrow or dread. What she had felt was disgust. It remained inside her as guilt. She averted her eyes from that emotion by hating her father. Even though in a corner of her head she understood that this was a psychological attack brought on by a delusion, it awoke emotions sealed deep inside her heart, leaving her as incapable of movement as if she'd been bound, as if she'd been bound hand and foot. And the same thing applied to Kozue. As Kozue sat in the place where she'd sunk down, a vast mirror appeared before her eyes, and she questioned her reflection, which likewise had a blood-soiled foot. Terror paralyzed her. Enormous teardrops spilled out from her eyes. Yeah, this is chapter 10. Chapter 10 PC. We haven't chosen an ending yet, so... Wounds she had wanted to forget, a past she hadn't wanted to remember. Decayed tears leaked forth in her heart as well. She began longing to escape. Not wanting at the mirror, she wished she could turn her face away. Despite that, her body stayed unmoving in opposition to her will. And on the other side of the mirror, she wasn't crying. Omae wa dare? 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 私は誰? 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 She was falling into a gestalt collapse. In the same way as in the past when she lost her ability to speak, in the same way as in the past when her heart shattered, she ceased to perceive herself, questioning her from the depths of the mirror as herself. She was uncertain of her own voice. She was uncertain of her own hairstyle. She was uncertain of the shape of her own nose. She was uncertain of the color of her eyes. She was uncertain of the fullness of her lips. She was uncertain of her own shape. She was uncertain of her own face.
私は誰？君はコズピーだよ。
Her image had been on the verge of splitting infinitely within the mirror. At the voice that suddenly came flying toward her, it stopped multiplying.
私はコズピー。私はコズピー。
I have the sense of, yeah, that we're getting to the point where we get to choose stuff. I'm getting that impression. Her identity was re-establishing herself. Kozue came back to herself. The colossal mirror towering before her broke into tiny pieces. Kozue looked for the source of the voice that had saved her. So we have to go through A ending to get the double A ending as well? Or how does that work? In the passage leading toward the turnstiles, she recognized his form there. Oh, okay. In her real voice, which she was supposed to have lost, Kozue cried out that name. Okay, the split is right at the end. She spoke. Kozue cried out. Not just in her heart. In reality, come to think of it, this was the first time I'd ever heard her speak out loud. It was thanks to Cosby that I'd imagined to come running here. While near the police box atop Dogan Hill, I had distinctly heard her inner screams for help in my head. And this is how, things are coming together. And once I ran off, relying on her voice, there was Senna, going white as she was forced to witness a delusion I couldn't see. Kuzupi and Hatano-san blood-drenched and fallen.
こいつはラッキーっすね。
No. 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 No way. Didn't he die? A man stood near the crossing with a revolver in his hand. He didn't die, okay? Maybe he thought he was some kind of gunman, going by how he twirled his gun around and around in his fingers. He shot Ban and then vanished from the scene. Okay. Though he was in a suit, he also wore a rucksack, and from within it reverberated a nasty mechanical noise. Suwa Mamoru, a detective in the investigative department of the police headquarters. I had met this man before, and I knew what this man had done.
もともとは目障りな畑の親子を処分しに来たんすけどね。西条くん、君が自分から火に飛び込んできてくれて感謝感激っす。君を見かけたら捕まえろってことになってるんすよ。
No.
誰に？内緒っす。
A flippant smile. That way of smiling brought his late partner, Detective Ban, to mind. But there was a decisive difference between them. Detective Ban's smile had been a performance. meant to set the other person off guard or else irritate them. When it came to Suwa, on the other hand, this slight smile itself was his true nature.
あんたは、ノロセの居場所を知ってる？
西条くんさ。
Suwa shook his head exaggerately and let out a sigh.
口の利き方に気をつけてほしいっすね。自分の方が年上っすよ。
So Suwa is a puppet of Norase, I guess.
バンっていう人を殺したのは、あんただ。
だから
刑事のくせに人を殺すなんて。
君には言われたくないっす。
I clenched my D sword tightly.
あんたみたいなやつに敬語を使う義理なんてないよ。
I'm literally finishing.
そんな舐めた口聞いていいんすか？殺すぞ、童貞野郎。
I'm gonna fucking kill you, Chetty boy. Oh boy. I could hear clearly. Even from this distance, the smile had disappeared from Suwa's face. And without moving a step out of place, he made an unexpected gesture, as if he were shaking out his free hand. An impact, pain, abrupt sensation. When startled, I looked at my shoulder. A familiar cross was protruding from it. No, not a cross. This was a stake. One of the cross-shaped stakes that had been used in the staking incident. Ooh, it come too fast for me to see it. The dimness of the premises also contributed to how I'd completely failed to notice it flying at me. Suwa had thrown it, all this distance without the slightest inaccuracy. I tentatively touched the stake. It felt cold and smooth. Was this a delusion, or the real thing? The pain grew steadily stronger and stronger. I couldn't flex my hands. I couldn't hold on to my D-sword.
再現してやるよ。
Suwa spoke in a voice tense with repressed fury.
貼り付け事件の再現だ。
At some point, Suwa had come to grip a cross-shaped stake in his hand. Forcibly suppressing his explosive anger, he unleashed that stake at Nishijo Takumi. It utterly ignored the laws of physics and air resistance. As though it had a will of its own, it shot in a straight line to stab through Takumi's arm. So far, 15 stakes had hit their marks. Not a single miss. Takumi's shoulders, upper arms, wrists, palms, waist, thighs, knees, shins. Blood lapped idly out of his deeply pierced wounds.
絶対に外れないダーツってのはあんま面白くないけどな。
The next stake was already in Suwa's hand. He repeated the same motion, flinging it.
自分が万能の神になったような気がするんだよ。
What an amazingly strange feeling, I thought. He probably isn't listening anyway, Suwa thought. Every shard of pain engraved on me like this give me a genuine feeling of life. Suwa heard another stake attack me. It was hanging, who had no way to resist what was happening.
俺はただの人間だけどな。お前らと同等の力を手に入れた。
Everything was the work of the Noah 2 Tamil inside this rucksack that the bastard wore on his back. As long as he had that with him, he could enjoy the benefits of Noah's 2 power without even being near it. He would become an artificial egalomaniac who was completely possessed by power. Suwa was being completely possessed by power. Suwa had been completely entranced by power. A religious fanatic who would do anything, no matter how filthy, for the sake of the teachings he followed and for their founder. A member of the vanguard who would do anything, no matter how filthy, for the sake of the teachings he followed and for their founder.
この力は神からの贈り物だ。信仰のため、信じる者のために戦えるんだからな。
Suwa hurled yet another stake. Penetrated all to the way to the back of my neck. It penetrated to the back of Takumi's neck. So, pain so intense it felt like my whole body would tear apart. Maddening pain. Brutally seethed in Suwa's heart as he wondered how long he would withstand it. It was like torture, bit by bit. I advanced toward death. As though torturing him, no, Suwa would make him advance toward death, bit by bit. Though incapable of resistance, I tensed my legs to keep from falling over. Incapable of resistance, it's still not falling over. I went on taking stakes in every part of my body. He went on receiving stakes in every part of his body. My chest, stomach, the tips of my toes, all throughout my body. Thick, sharp sticks kept pounding into me without mercy.
虫ピンで標本にされた昆虫みたいだな。しかもカブトムシとか蝶とかじゃない。お前みたいなガキにはコガネムシあたりがお似合いだ。
Takumi had already reached the point at which it would be impossible for him to stand. Well, I couldn't help but find it strange that he hadn't collapsed yet. Willpower alone was what kept me from collapsing. But I'll hit my limit soon. Couldn't see clearly, as if there were a mosaic filter laid over my vision. His eyes were empty, and in all likelihood he wasn't seeing anything
遺言
anymore.
があるならいいな。ただし20時以内だ。
So I said to be gloatingly holding the next stake in his hand. With the next one, you'll kill me. So I will kill him with the next one.
さっき、童貞やろうって言った。
傷ついたのか？
I glared at Suva, relying on his far-off voice to find him. Takumi glared at Suva with his lightless eyes.
これが最後の一本。信仰の救いはお前にはやらねえよ!
I sensed the stake. Suva had flung as it sliced through the air.
知ってる。
It was the stake of certain death, a cross to bring me to the promised gospel. The one who would die with this single blow was
童貞の妄想力はすごいんだ。
With a dull sound. The stake plunged deep into his forehead. Agony erupted throughout Sua's body, gushing up within him. Of the agony devouring, my whole body went away, almost like it had been an illusion. Sua let out a voiceless scream, moaning. I let out a deep breath and licked my parched lips. Sua's entire body was impaled with cross-shaped stakes. My hand was a single cross. So it switched. The fuck? When he looked up, there was a cross stuck in his forehead. When I looked up at the sky, there were leaden clouds.
復活の奇跡は物語で妄想なんだ。何をした妄想シンクロ。
Sick shit. Assimilation with delusions, an invasion of the heart. Like two pelts of ripples cancelling each other out, like two wavelengths resonating. Entwining with one another, melting together. The fate you created would be warped, warping the fates created by others. And switch them out, switching them in. No one could do that, Sua thought disbelievingly. Sua thought, yeah.
神の先兵ならメシアと同じように朽ち果てろ。
Colors were rapidly vanishing from Sua's vision. Sua's eyes were rapidly losing their
それ
sight.
と僕は救いなんかいらないよ。
Sua no longer gave any answers. Standing, he breathed his last. I returned to the station area. Cusby had on a blank, dazed face. It seemed like she'd been shocked by watching the whole thing from beginning to end. Her foot was bloodstained and painful to look at.
コズピー、大丈夫？
Still slumped down, she bobbed her head in a nod. But it appears as if she couldn't stand up on her own. She looked up at me with sparkling eyes.
Takumi-san, 何が起きたの?
Cusby, you're talking normally?
あ、本当だ。
Putting a finger to her tip, she tilted her head in wonder. But she soon appeared to tire of thinking about it.
童貞さんの妄想力はすごいの?
Yeah, they do.
すごいよ。
They're pretty sexual, but okay. Then I had said that ignorance was a sin, but I didn't agree with her. It's precisely because you don't know what don't know about it that you can supplement your ignorance with delusions. Your delusions can swell up, get as big and overblown as you want them to. You can have swords of delusions that would be impossible to have if you knew. Delusions are a virgin's #1 talent. Speaking of which, what about Senna? I looked around for her in the poorly lit platform. Senna stopped at the edge of the platform, her head lowered. Her feet was... No, we're getting to the details. Hatano is lying in a puddle of blood. He had no longer showed any signs of moving, and even I could tell his life had ended. I hadn't made it in time. Even though I thought that he might know Atu's location, actually Senna could know. Talking about that, Senna could know. But I don't think Takumi would know that Senna... I don't think Takumi could know that Senna could know something about Noah 2's locations, since she's been at this experimented thingy, and maybe Noah 2 isn't too far off that. So, there's that.
Noah 2は渋谷駅のすぐ横にある。
Come on, that was too easy. Senna murmured, gazing down at Hatano-san, at her real father's remains. As if she'd seen through what I was thinking.
この男が死ぬ間際に、私の心に伝えてきた。渋谷駅の東口、ビルの屋上にある。今は閉鎖されたプラネタリウム。そこに、ノア2がある。
どうも。
I waffled over whether or not to say anything to Senna. She had borne a grudge against her father. She had longed to kill him. Despite the fact that her heart's desire had been granted, her back looked terribly lonely.
くそ。私をかばって、それで罪を償ったつもりか。
Senna's words were aimed at her father's unresponsive corpse.
お前は自分の罪を認めた。その上で私に見せつけるように。自殺したようなものだ。許せない。私はお前を許さない。
セナさん、心が泣いてるの。本当は、お父さん、殺したくなかったのら。
Kozupi's whisper hit the nail on the head. That was when Senna stopped showing us her irresolute attitude. This is sad. Shoulders shaking, she dropped heavily to her knees.
どうして生きて罪を償おうとしないんだ。どうして。
セナ。
どうして？
西条、お願い。
Senna lifted her face. Her tears-soaked expression was not the severe-looking face she usually wore.
ノア2を壊して。
It was the frail look of a lone girl, heartbroken over the loss of her father, her family.
"僕を殺そうとしたくせに、君のお願いなんて聞く義理はないよ。
たくみさん、
Turning my back on Senna and Kozupi, I began walking down the tunnel to Shibuya Station. Two wide gaping holes, what spread out in their depths was a deep darkness. If I passed through there, it'd be the most direct route to Shibuya Station.
僕は僕の目的のためだけにノア2を壊す。絶対に。
I had a feeling that Senna said something, but I was no longer listening. Oh, this is the real deal. Inohana Kozo, a member of the lower house of the Diet, and of Kuramachi Yudai, the founder of the Cosmic Church of Divine Light, looked at the huge, uncannily growing machine before them, Noah 2, and nodded in satisfaction.
5000人を殺すと言い出した時はどうなることかと思ったが、
調整には随分と骨が折れたよ。特に300人委員会に感づかれないようにするのはね。
ご協力に感謝します。
Norris bowed his head slightly.
だがこれが完成した今、5000人などちっぽけな数字でしかなくなった。
早くも影響が目に見えて出てきているよ。人々の家畜化が始まっている。
これでいよいよ我らが世界を手に入れる日も現実のものとなったわけだ。
Inohara and Kuramachi exchanged looks with each other and smiled disquietingly. Norase watched them without lifting an eyebrow.
しかしノロセよ。貴様、なかなか興味深い趣味を持っているようじゃないか。何のことでしょ
With a vulgar, insinuating grin, Inohara jerked his jaw at the work of art standing beside Noah 2.
なんとも芸術性にあふれるオブジェだ。ぜひわしにも一つ用意してもらいたいものだな。
素材ならば、我が教団の信者の中からえりすぐりを提供してもよい。
倉持先生は気前がいい。あれは餌ですよ。
It's bait.
餌？
餌？
ノア2をより完璧なものにするための。まあ、そういうことにしておこう。
それより、ノア2が具体的にどれほどのことができるのか実演してもらいたいところだね。
それはいい。早速やってみせたまえ。
Still as expressionless as a null mask, Norse gave a little shrug of his shoulders. Show us! He'd like to see a demonstration of just how much Noah 2 is capable of doing anything. Is accomplishing in concrete terms. Yeah.
では、このようなものはどうですか?
Then how about this? By the time Norase finished his sentence, the demonstration had already started. Inohara and Kuramachi both came to the sudden realization that they had guns in their hands. That miraculous occurrence had become reality without any alterations or gestures on the part of either Norase or Noatsu.
おお、本物そっくりだ。
まるで手品のようだよ。
手品と一緒にしてもらっては困ります。その銃の存在は現実。
Wow. Talk about gun control here, you know. As they scrutinized their guns, Inohara and Kuramachi nodded in satisfaction again.
実に素晴らしい。
いかにも神をも超越する力だ。
A power transcending God. Well.
この銃は記念にもらっておくとするか。
小物ですね。
Such lightweights you are. The other two failed to hear Norase's faint murmur.
早速今後の計画を検討しよ
う。まずは300人委員会の排除。
So, the elimination of the committee of 300. Isn't the committee kind of what's behind this thing? I don't know.
ノロセ、ご苦労だったな。
I just need to shut up and finish, I guess, yeah.
今後のことは追って連絡する。
A mutiny. Okay. It's mutiny. It's been a long time again since chapter 6, yeah. In excellent moods, the two of them readied themselves to leave the planetarium on light-stepping feet.
その必要はありません。
何？
どういうことだ？
There, for the first time, Norase's expression transformed. He narrowed his eyes, raised his chin minutely, and fixed his gaze upon the two of them from his full height. His demeanor practically made it seem as if he were looking down on them. No, in actuality, he was looking down on them.
計画は私が引き継ぎましょう。ただし、あなた方の考えているような低俗な目的ではなく、より崇高な理由のためにです。
Norase's tone continued to be courteous through and through. Yet when they realized the meaning of what he was saying, both Inohara and Kuramachi naturally became infuriated.
貴様、裏切るのか？
神にでもなったつもりかね。
300人委員会が黙ってはおらんぞ。
お二人も300人委員会のメンバーでありながら、反旗を翻そうとしていたではありませんか。
Norase's eyes fixed on the two. Emotion, and there was contempt. His cold gaze, as if he were contemplating something dirty, signified the fact that he had merely been using Inohara and Kuramachi all this time. Is Norase kind of becoming the Gendo?
これはすべて予定通りの行動ですよ。あなた方がここで死ぬことも含めて。
ふざけるな！
ざれ言を。
He is the Gendo. 計画通り。Kuramachi and Inohara simultaneously pointed the barrels of their guns at Norase. They put their fingers out on the trigger.
ざれ言ではなく。
The two guns fired at the same time. The sound they made thundered around inside the dome.
予知だったのですが。
Rather than Norase, the ones who fell were Inohara and Kuramachi. For some reason, immediately before pulling the trigger, they had shifted their aim away from Norris and shot at each other. Instant death. The pair of them lying there as comrades with holes open in each other's foreheads had already stopped breathing and changed to mere lumps of flesh.
ノア2は我が手にあります。俗物にはその意味がお分かりにはならなかったようだ。
So he's using the tool he was supposed to build against those who wanted to have the tool. The demonstration that Rosa showed the two of them hadn't ended with producing the guns. He had made them mistake each other for him and forced them to kill each other. Everything up until then had been part of the demonstration. With the power of Noah 2, he had accomplished it all too casually. Notice had turned down toward the work of art. There could be found the form of the pinned up Sakihara Rimi. Rimi had entered Notice to release Nanami, and in exchange for agreeing to this, he had taken her hostage instead. Perhaps because of the psychological attacks she'd received from Nanami, most of the vigor had gone out of Rimi, and now, staked in place, she hung her head powerlessly. But her shoulders shuddered faintly when Norase approached.
自分の手を汚さずに卑怯なことばっかり。あなたこそ俗物だよ。
俗物だよ。Northley backhanded Rimi across the neck, cheek, when he grabbed her by the chin, forcing her to face him. Though her expression was dead-looking, her scarcely open eyes alone pierced Norase with a blazing light, even now.
なぜ西條匠に助けを求めないのです？
Why don't you seek Nishija Takami's help? He whispered by Rimi's ear.
彼を巻き込まないで。
どちらの彼のことを言っているのですか？
二人ともだよ。
私としてはどちらか一人で十分ですがね。
Am I allowed to rewatch the anime after finishing this?
IR2 を生み出したものとその完全なるコピ
ー。Don't watch the anime. To those who haven't watched the anime, just don't. I have watched it a long time ago.
二人とも化け物じみた力を持っている。
The anime is horrible. Okay, only after finishing B because reasons.
彼らどちらかのコードサンプルが手に入れば、ノア2はより完璧へと近づくでしょう。神をも超える力を得るのです。
Rimi lowered her eyes in apparent pain. Norase roughly removed the hands of gripping her jaw, then looked up at Noah too, a smile playing about the corners of his mouth.
さあ、呼びかけなさい。どちらでもいい。
I don't care which one.
私は歓迎しますよ。
In fact, Norase was greatly anticipating at how Nishija Takami would come here after overcoming their trials. Norase had ready for him. Progress down the dark tunnel, relying on the red light of my D-sword. My pace naturally started to hasten. It was my first time doing anything like walking along subway tracks. Even though I thought there was no way they'd come, I kept inadvertently checking in front and in back of me to see if a train were running my way. By train, it took about a minute to get between Shibuya Station and the station at Shinsen. In terms of distance, it was surely less than a kilometer. Luckily, it seemed like the Inokashira's line's tunnel hadn't experienced many cave-ins, and at this rate, I'd probably be able to make it to Shibuya Station. Except, I was bothered by the warning Kazubi had given me as we parted. She said the following.
たくさんのぐもぐもドロドロっていう意識がね、待ち構えてるのら。コズピー、力になれないけど。気をつけてね、たくみさん。
Mushy mushy, slappy, slushy, consciousness, huh? At least it seemed pretty certain that they weren't something favorable to me. It came close to cowering. I felt really lonely and helpless, continuing all on my own down this pitch black tunnel, when someone told me that there was something dreadful lurking beyond here. Of course, it made me hesitate to go on. My heart whispered to me, telling me I should turn back right away and head to Shibuya Station above ground. But I couldn't afford to lose so much time, so I chased away my fear by picturing Rimi's smile at the back of my head. I thrust my D-sword toward and illuminated what lay down the tunnel. Its red light aggravated my sense of eeriness and insecurity. A certain feeling of displacement. I felt like something peculiar had crossed my eye, and I sent my gaze darting around relentlessly, wondering what it could be. About 10 meters down the tracks, there I found a tiny, protrusive shadow, the likes of which I hadn't seen before. I strained my eyes. It wasn't a protrusion. About 20 centimeters tall, it was a Seraton figure? Well, what? Why had someone left a figure in a spot like this? It was all too out of place in the dim subway interior atop the tracks between stations. It must have surely been an illusion, in my opinion. A place where the general public definitely couldn't enter. Smack in the middle of the tracks, the figure laid there. It was my current favorite, the post-awakening version. On top of that, the area around her chest had been crushed. Is that a sign for something? Could it possibly be my figure, which I dropped in the midst of the tumult at the scramble crossing yesterday? Why was it in a place like this? Plus, she was standing upright and her bewitching smile looked straight at me. Uh-oh, psycho attack.
タッキーにはそう見えてるんだ。
I heard her voice, Sarah's voice, which I always fantasized about in my head.
なんでもいいけどさ。
In less than a second, the amount of time it took me to blink, Seraton, who should have been a figure, began converting her form to a life-size scale. And just like a human being, she wriggled her smooth and sexy body. Her full breast shook, and her hair rippled. Was this a delusion of mine?
ねえ、タッキー、遊ぼうよ。
Must be one of Norris's tricks. I heard her voice from behind me. When I turned around with a gasp, another life-sized Seraton was there.
リミッチのことなんてほっといてさ。
Not just behind me. Not just behind me, to my left and to my right. The Seraton steadily multiplied. They came streaming up out of the darkness. I felt a faint chill as I regarded that spectacle. At last, the number of Seratons increased to almost 3 digits.
私と気持ちいいことしよう。
That's what I'd call a harem. That That's a harem. Yeah. Yes, but actually, no. Maybe a harem of girls that wants to, like, fight you. That'd be weird. So... Those 100 Seratans surrounded me and spoke simultaneously.
いっしょボケナス
One of the Seratan in front of me lunged at me, smiling. His thin arms lowered an enormous metal club. Uh-oh. Bokusatsu Tenshi. Dokuro-chan. This is what it reminds me of. It had a real impact. I felt it passing down my D-sword, which I used to stop it. Such a heavy blow that my hands went numb, as if they were convulsing. They ached. That I finally knew. Reality, this wasn't illusion. They were real booted existences. Everyone here was my enemy.
遊んでくれないとぶっ飛ばしちゃうぞ
Yeah. Yeah, Bokusatsu Tenshi Dokuro-chan. This is definitely... Yeah.
僕の嫁なら道を開けて
やだ
Nuh-uh.
それなら
I'd have to break my way through. I re-clenched my sword tightly. The fiery symbols on the hilt of my D-sword blazed. The sword gave off an increasing amount of red light. I slashed at once of my brides. I felt no weight in my sword. Smoothly, it traced the orbit I desired. I cut her down from shoulder to hip. I felt absolutely none of the resistance I would have expected from flesh and bones being severed. There was almost no need to put any strength into it. Sarah's glamorously body split in two, diagonally. She collapsed, spring blood. You ever murdered your waifu? I'm glad I haven't had to, so... Even her innards had been reproduced realistically. They glistened pink. I shifted my eyes away.
ごめんセラ
I killed my favorite character with my own hands as an attacker that could be nothing tougher than this. Even so, I couldn't let myself get held up here.
強い強い
Tsuyoi!
さすがタッキーそんなタッキーが好きもっと気持ちよくして遊ぼうよめちゃくちゃにしてあげる
I'll mess you up real bad. This damn bat. This is kind of the Dokusatsu Tenshi Dokuro-chan bat. And the whole scene is just like, yeah, I'm your Bokusatsu Tenshi Dokuro-chan if you've seen the show. The Samurai Condenser. The individual Seratans began talking on their own. All as they pleased, their voices became a deluge and threatened to swallow me. I had to stop thinking of them as Sera, I told myself. In order to continue forward, I took a swing at the Seras blocking my path.
どいてよ
A red streak bolting at full speed, tearing apart the darkness from side to side. 4 lined up Seratans turned to dead bodies at the same time. Another one of them grabbed me from behind. She wrapped her arms around my neck like a rear-naked choke. Her large, soft breasts pushed against my back. I impaled my sword through the face of another Seratan who was trying to cling up to my leg. It made her attractive face melt down, a hole opening up in it. I couldn't breathe, like she was choking me. It seemed like I would asphyxiate. Her metal bed approached me from the front. I switched myself around where I stood, presenting her with my back. So the other one's with the one at the back is hitting the other one. As Seraton shuddered, her arms weakened around me. Imagine being invaded by your waifu. Like, for real. It's like, yeah. I shed the Seraton on my back. Pivoting, I swung my D-sword. The legs of recharging Seratons are ran apart their thighs. All three toppled forward at once. I stepped over their backs. I lowered my sword toward the Sera, swinging her bat around further back. Her metal bat caught my D-sword. I cut down her forearm from the crown of her head, the bat included. The more precise, my D-sword didn't cut. Rather than saying that it sliced things, it would be more accurate to say that it forced everything along its way to its arc to vaporize. No matter how hard, no matter how soft, no matter how cold, no matter how hot. In a matter of moments, this sword made everything it touched boil up and burn off. Disappear. Just like snap. I felt the hairs on my body stand on end. At the spectacle of venomous characters, all with the same face, calling my name simultaneously, attacking me. Just drawing at each other. So I raised my voice to fire myself up and lanced the Seraton, who was right in front of me, through the chest. Taki. That Seraton seized the D-sword. At almost precisely the same time, her hands evaporated. That sounds like in a... Yeah. I went speechless. Terror came crawling up from the depths of my body. Chills shot through my spine. I turned rigid. That's what she said. This wasn't Sera. Sera wouldn't turn on me. Pansu. The sound of several of my ribs shattering, the dull noise of the bones in my right arm creaking as well. It resounded from inside my own body. An impact. It went flying, slammed into the wall, hit my head straight on. My vision twisted dizzily. Her metal bat lowered at top speed. It beat me, crushed me. Everything below the elbow of my arm turned into mincemeat. She gored right through me and into the wall's concrete. Another metal bat swept toward my leg. A limp right hand. If I moved it even a little bit, agony would reverberate up to my brain. I ignored it and swung my D-sword. Cleanly severing the metal bat, pressing in on me. Pain made a howling sound leak from my mouth. I dove within the reach of Sarah in front of me. I pressed my D-sword to her torso and swung it all the way through. Seraton's blood showered my hands. Even though she was an anime character, her blood was warm and everything. My numbing heart. Pain alone reigned over me. I wanted to block all it off, but I couldn't. Note, not as long as this pain were here. Gouts of blood overflowed from my crushed left hand. It was hard for my right hand to hold my D-sword too. Pain strong enough to make me faint rang out from inside my bones. Before I knew it, I'd gone sweaty all over. Drops of it entered my eyes, making them sting. My fogging visions, the Seras closing in on me. Like a deep reverberation, their delighted laughing voices made my eardrums shiver. With these wounds, I might not be able to live for more than another few hours. That thought occurred to me suddenly, but I didn't especially mind. I was a delusionary existence anyway. The kind of existence that would probably disappear on the morrow. I didn't care how much I got hurt, as long as I could rescue Remy, as long as I could destroy Noah too. If all I needed to offer up were parts of this body of mine, I'd give him as much as they wanted. So, open the way. Well, if it attacked me yet again, I thought I would avoid it, but pain and exhaustion slowed my reactions. I took it right to the temple. There came a sensation of its enormous studs sinking into my skull. Oh, wow. That must hurt. The world shook. I blacked out. It had already been dark enough, but I lost the ability to see anything whatsoever. Rip. I tripped and fell, and as I fell, I used my right hand, resonant with pain, to make sure my D-sword was still there. I clenched my crushed left hand in an effort to push myself back up. My exposed bones hit the earth. A crash like an electric shock ran through me. I momentarily passed out, but soon revived. My sight returned, my body was rising, and the bottoms of my feet got a hold of the ground. Using the centrifugal force of having been knocked with such momentum, I charged into the midst of the Seras, swinging my right hand. My bones creaked. Flesh blood spurted from the Seras. The stench of blood reached my nose. My own blood? Seras? I no longer knew. They mingled together. I knew I was covered in blood. My fogging vision went red. I went on slashing. I had no idea how many of them I'd cut down. When would it end? I had the hallucination that Sarah would keep multiplying infinitely. Sarah clung to my right hand. I swung that Sarah around along with my D-sword. She wouldn't get off me. Instead, she bent my arm backward. My joint popped out, but I couldn't flex it anymore. I dropped my D-sword. Nausea surged up. I broke out coughing. A taste of blood spread through my mouth. My broken ribs may have damaged my oh, fuck. Oh, every kind of pain out there ate into my body. I was going out of my mind. Prayed. I couldn't keep myself from praying. I wanted to be released. I knew it to be impossible, and so this prayer was akin to a little charm for luck. No, don't. Sarah peeked into my face, smiling widely. I kicked her in the jaw with all my might. I forced my right arm to tense up. It was losing all sensation. I had the hallucination that my nerves were burning apart. My entire body went hot. At this point, the pain in my bones kept rippling through the whole body instead of being confirmed to my arm, as though my entire body was breaking. I heard a voice, like a beast growling. I wondered whose voice it was, and it turned out to be emerging from my own mouth. I moved the fingers of my right hand a tiny bit. I picked up my D-sword. A delusion. An image of being bound by a cord. For an instant it became reality. A cord affixed to my hand up to the sword. I had to go to where Rimi was, beyond this darkness.
タッキー、どうして私と一緒にいてくれないの？
I spat out the blood. It stopped up in my mouth. Around me were piles of Sarah corpses lying prone. Other Sarahs rushed towards me, kicking them. Ripples went through the pools of blood on the ground. I slowly shook my head.
だって、セイラは。
She should just real boot a few walls to seal them shut. To seal them away and yeah. I gripped my teeth.
アニメじゃないか。
A split second after, all the Sarahs instantaneously turned two-dimensional. Those standing became life-sized cardboard cutouts. The corpses lying down became body pillow covers. He should have just, tried to real boot a wall or two walls to trap them inside those those two walls so that he can just continue. That's true though. You should have realized Sarah wasn't 2D in the first place. They had returned to their original dwelling, their second dimension, and they were no longer moving. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
僕も後で行くよ。
I lowered my hand for a little bit, as though holding a moment of silence for them and their wreckage. He already is 2D. In the corner of my head, I thought to myself that body pillow covers with Sarah looking all bloody and good on them definitely wouldn't sell too well. Even now I was on the verge of passing out, but I bit my lip hard and withstood it. I resumed walking down the dark tunnel. An old single tower building at the south exit of Shibuya Station. Almost all the other buildings had collapsed, partially or fully, yet it alone remained unscarred. On its roof was the dome of a planetarium that had closed down several years previously. My breath weak, I climbed the empty stairs to the top floor, went through the deathly silent lobby to enter the planetarium interior, and caught my breath at the giant device that flew into my sight. Noah 2 rose in state, a chill in the air stole away my body heat. And then there was the object, the art, that had been made to stand beside Noah 2. Rimi, who had been fastened to it, slowly raised her head when she noticed my voice. Our eyes met. Her eyes went wide. Doshte?
君を助けに。
Light in her eyes flickered. She shook her head sadly.
そんな、無茶して。待っててって言ったのに。なんで
Because I love you. Because I love you, Remy. But I didn't put it into words. I couldn't say something along the lines of, I love you, so I've come to rescue you. Like this, drenched in blood, my arm crushed to a pulp. I looked nothing like a prince on a white horse. And she'd definitely find it to be nasty and creepy. It would pretty much make me the equivalent of a stalker. If I conveyed my feelings to her one-sidedly, it would only bother her. From here on out, she would go on living. From here on out, I would soon die. If someone on the verge of death went off and decided to tell their feelings, it would just leave you with a bad aftertaste. Which was why I didn't speak of how I felt.
意味に、これを返したくて。
My weak right hand, my hand, still holding on my D sword. Desperately using those fingers. I pulled a handkerchief out from near my heart. A soft vermilion. I couldn't tell if that were the original color, if that were its original color, or if my blood had soaked into it. Didn't give off the floral scent anymore either. It's something Remy had given me. One of the irreplaceable memories I'd received from her.
僕は、君をここから助け出して、ノア2を壊して、このハンカチを返すんだ。
It was all I could do. If I saw those things through to completion, I could vanish without regrets. Besides, it didn't seem like I'd be able to accomplish anything else. From a while now, I've been having the hallucination that all my senses had gone numb. Maybe the excess of pain had made my brain start blocking off those sensations which were being transmitted through however many of my nerve endings. So I couldn't move my body well. Blood kept dripping from my arm. My eyes were going cloudy. It was completely I was completely cold. It was completely cold. If I weren't careful, I'd probably pass out soon.
Kimi wa jitsu ni yukan desu ne.
That pathetic clap. A tall man, Norose Genichi, emerged from Noah 2's shadow. Expressionless, he faced me and clapped with feigned innocence.
しかし、致命的なことが一つあります。行動原理が感情に根ざしているということです。それは野蛮人のすることだ。
I didn't really understand what this man was saying. I was frantically working to take in and deal with my pain, and I didn't have the spare room to comprehend other people's words. Remy accepted.
小を犠牲にして大の利益を守る。それを悪だと思いますか？私はそうは思いません。このままでは人類はいずれ滅び去る。人の欲望によってです。
By means of human avarice. What does avarice mean in German? Desire. Okay. And I know what desire is. Greed. Human greed.
あまりにも醜い心。あまりに利己的な欲望の洪水。人の社会はすでに破綻し、腐り落ちようとしています。誰もが己のことしか考えず、その結果殺し合い、奪い合っています。君もギガロマニアックスとして覚醒したのなら見たはずですよ。人の心の本質を。私は幼い頃に覚醒したため、もう何十年という間、それを見てきた。300人委員会は人類の自滅を阻止するためという大義名分のもと、世界人間牧場計画を推し進めてきました。
The Human Domestication Project. The translator did a darn good job to convey, to put a, you could say, to put a reference into Ava, to put a Ava reference into there somewhere. Yeah, okay. Steiner confirmed Ehrenmann. Human Domestication Project. Ah, that's one of the terms changed by the die patch. The die patches, yeah. That was a good idea. I approve of this terminology. Human Domestication Project. That's, I don't know. It really seems like Norase is becoming the Gendo of ChäoS Head. I'm just seeing so many parallels that because I'm an Ava nerd. In that sense, Gendo is also a good guy, just the motives are, you could say, the motives, you know, are emotional with Gendo. While with Norase, it's more of a, we need to fix society. The parallels are intentional, so okay. They've said, on part of the writers, they've said as much. They've said, yeah, the intent, yeah, okay. That's cool. That's cool. Since I definitely love Ava, I appreciate those kind of things.
けれどそれも所詮、彼らのエゴを満たすものでしかない。私が目指すのはそんなものではありません。悟ったのですよ。この腐った世界を再生するためには、社会のシステムを変えるのではなく、世界中すべての人間の心を変える必要があるのだと。そのためのプロジェクトノアです。ノア2があれば世界中すべての人間から負の妄想を消し去り、清廉な心へと漂白できます。
In a sense, doesn't he kind of, I'd say he's a mixture of Light Yagami and Gendo. That's kind of what I'm getting as, yeah, that he seems to be an okay good guy, but the means through which he does things are odd. But how do you say in German? Der Zweck heiligt die Mittel. Necessary evils for the greater good.
争いは消え、世界に永遠の平和を与えることができます。 君も誰かに蔑まれることもなくなるでしょう。
His lengthy speech came to an end at last. I desperately braced my legs to keep from collapsing. I'd managed to get a little rest. It had saved me.
あんたの言ってることはもしかしたら正しいかもしれない。
Not that I'd been listening closely, but if you were to take the future of humanity into consideration, his way was surely correct, a truly righteous point of view. Notice he was the president of a large enterprise and the man motivated by justice. A man motivated by justice, he devoted thought to the entire human race. I was a monster and a virgin and a creepy otaku and a selfish and blatantly egoistical guy trying only to save the girl I loved. Under normal circumstances, I'd totally play the villain. Justice would defeat the monster and come out victorious.
でも僕はあんたには負けられない。
なぜ否定するのです？
ただの自己満足だ。
残念です。
His gaze fixed on me. Norza seized Rimi's shirt front and dragged her down from the object, the art. And in front of that sculpture, he extended his right hand to the side. Oh boy! At the same instant, the work of art, which should have been standing vertically, spread to have installed itself on Nora's hand. This wasn't a piece of artwork or anything of the sort. This was certainly, and it certainly wasn't a cross made for crucifixions. A D sword, all too massive to be called a sword. That's like a D massive shuriken. Cruel and cold. A tool for sowing terror. A contaminated gospel. Intricate chaos. Sacrilege for violation. Unadulterated wickedness. Just like the door to hell, it would steal the hearts of those who saw it, tempting them into a cycle of endless suffering. Its shape blended everything negative in the world into one whole, embodying all of it. I gulped down a single breath. Even so, I had made up my mind. I adjusted my grip on my D-sword and brought to my hand by a cord. I took a step towards Noah too. Namely, I began closing the distance between me and Norose. When it came to the range of our weapons, his was overwhelmingly superior.
剣で切り合うような野蛮な行為はあまり得意ではないのですがね。しかし、君からコードサンプルを手に入れる必要があります。そのために無力化しなければね。
Tall Norose swung his even taller D-sword one-handed. It was a blow brimming with the sort of heft that seemed capable of pulverizing anything imaginable. My arms wouldn't respond right away. Pain shot through them all. Pain shot through them when all I did was tense them. Even then, I forced myself to raise my arm. I stopped this D-sword. If I had a normal sword, there was no doubt that it had split clean in two. Not to mention that my D-sword was terribly thin, it contrasted too sharply with Norose's. But my D-sword didn't break, and I somehow managed to hold off Norose's fierce attack. My hand went numb. Since my headband was all but gone, I had trouble keeping my balance. My posture crumbled. It seemed as if he were about to send me hurtling back. I withstood it. I met Notice's second attack. He parried too fast for me. Don't be led astray by how this sword looks. I want myself. A power struggle between an excessively slender and delicate sword and an excessively gigantic and ferocious sword. Somehow, I succeeded in going up against him, but that was very much just for now. That is a nice CG. For the fourth time, our swords clashed. Notice's hands began to move differently from before. It appeared as though he had clenched down on the grip of his sword. His D-sword undulated, releasing an eerie sound that hummed as its structure recombined. The tip of its blade opened like a pair of scissors, thrusting up toward my chest. Ooh. That transformation, I realized it would be fatal to me. Resistance. I lowered my sword straight in front of me, but it was too late. The two-pronged point of his sword pierced my chest. A brutal smile played out Notice's mouth. His grip loosened. The colossal scissors closed. My chest, together with my ribs, together with my lungs. The scissors gnawed into them. I retreated a step in desperation. Notice swept his arm further towards the side. Flesh and blood danced before my eyes. Pain lanced through my whole body. Although my senses were supposed to have gone numb, it was enough to render me speechless. I clenched my teeth and endured it. My chest roiled up. I had turned to shredded meat. If I hadn't backed up, it'd have gotten to my heart. Huge amounts of blood came spraying out. I started to topple. I caught myself. I couldn't die. Like I'd let myself die after coming so far. I ignored Norase. I frantically advanced towards Noah 2 and the fallen Rimi. Lying there, Rimi raised her head a little bit without moving anything else and looked up at me. She was probably weakened, wasn't she? Her body must be insisting on limpness. Awareness, or else my injuries made my vision fuzzy. I didn't know what kind of face Rimi was looking at me with. I couldn't bring myself to meet her gaze. I didn't want her to see me like this, bloodstained and beaten. My tiny little pride had made me picky about that kind of thing, even though I was going to die anyways. I continued walking towards Noah 2. It was already within reach of my D-sword. Strangely, notice that it didn't come chasing me from behind. Then all of a sudden, an airy melody started playing through the dome interior. Let me pass. Noah 2. Towering before me. The sound resonating from it grew shriller. As it resided there solemnly, I sensed something unknown beginning to move inside it. For a second I quailed, but I gradually lowered my center of gravity, readying myself. I faced Noah 2's tube-ridden, almost organic-looking surface. Looking at Noah 2, Noah 2 looks like one of those GLaDOS cores. Especially if you look at this, you could say a centerpiece. It looks like one of GLaDOS's cores. And I mowed it down with my D sword. Suddenly I noticed that at some point Noah 2 had disappeared from my field of sight. For some reason I was standing with my back facing it. I definitely had been attempting to destroy it. I had no intention of spinning around. But I was facing backwards. Norase, rather than Noah 2, appeared in the center of my wake side, standing in front of me. Turning around, I wielded my D-sword one more time. But though I had meant to turn around, I hadn't. I had willed myself to turn around. I had made the motion of turning around, but the final result was that I hadn't. I grew befuddled.
ノア2の自己防衛機能とでも言うべきものです。
Lotus's quiet voice echoed through the dome, mingling with the melody of Let Me Pass.
近づく者の心に干渉し、意志を歪ませる。ノア2には誰も近寄れません。私以外は。
As he finished speaking, Lotus closed in on me with elegant strides. He leisurely raised the enormous D-sword in his hand. I bit my molars together. I didn't have enough blood left. I couldn't think clearly. Despite that, I took my all but senseless right hand. My right hand was basically crippled by pain. I raised it in desperation and prepared myself for his next blow. A D-sword which had somehow been welded into my hand with a cord alone met with an incredible impact and went flying. It tumbled across the floor, moving away from me. I watched it go in astonishment, but when I turned my line of sight back to the front, there was Norose sneering. The music shifted as though it were giving me some kind of warning, as though to urge me towards something.
君の存在を否定してあげましょう。
Norose had already positioned himself for his next attack. He was about to unleash it on me. All too overwhelmingly, all too destructively, all too viciously. His D-sword. In opposition, I was unarmed. Without anything to help myself stave off his blow, I became petrified. How? How? Ni hao? Rimi threw herself between me and Norose. Something soft feeling covered my face.
タクを殺さないで。
Rimi's chest. Rimi was embracing me as though to wrap herself around me, shielding me from Norose. Norose let out a small breath and lowered his sword. Rimi had saved me again, even though I'd come to rescue her. God, how pathetic. In my mortification, I reached for Rimi's blouse, the gap between its buttons. I slipped my right hand inside it. What? This is not The place for weird things, Taku. Really? The lingerie she wore was warm and just a little rough to the touch. The pain of the wound gored in my chest, and the pain of my separated left hand, and the pain in my dislocated right shoulder. The anguish of being unable to breathe properly through damaged lungs. Her warmth seemed like it would heal all my suffering. Remy's lingerie, Remy's bare skin, molesting her in the middle of a darn fight, you know? Just get a room or something, but don't do it in... don't do it here. You are not Araragi-san, okay? Araragi-san at least is popular with the girls. Okay. Stop it. I grabbed them through the fabric. It's gonna... Yeah, Twitch is not gonna like this. Even after I moved away from her, Remy hit her chest with her hands and wept heartbrokenly, despite her protecting me. Why had I done such a thing? What the hell was I doing at a time like this? Like, really, what the hell, Takumi? What the hell are you doing? You should not do this. Why was I making Remy cry? Psychological attack. My own voice reverberated within me. My breath caught in alarm. Why was I alarmed? Because he'd hit the nail on the head? Because he'd seen through me. Who had? My voice in my heart, my true self?
ここで物にしておかないと将軍に寝取られちゃうよ。
Boy.
ここで物にしておかないと将軍に寝取られちゃうよ。
将軍に寝取られ。Wow. And now we know what netorare means.
あんなしわくちゃ野郎にリミはやられちゃうんだよ。寝取られるなんて嫌じゃねえ。まあもうすでにやられちゃってる可能性もあるけどさ。
My true nature whispered to me, "Stop it, please. Don't say that kind of thing. It isn't what I've been thinking." I wanted to cover my ears, but I couldn't do it without my left hand. Remy crying, unable to fix her disheveled clothes. Seeing the face of hers pained me so much, and it felt like my heart would be crushed.
片思いでいいとか綺麗事言ってないでさ。犯しちゃえって。ノロセはそれをする時間ぐらい待ってくれるってよ。
Bro.
どうせ僕はもうすぐ死ぬんだ。やりたいことやって死のうよ。僕のこのかわいそうな境遇ならここでちょっとひどいことやったってしょうがなかったで許されるよ。
I was having a delusion, a bad habit of mine. So it'd be real bad if I didn't work out on not listening to him. Would be able to avoid getting swept away by the flow. My weak heart was guiding me in the wrong direction, in an easier direction, but I couldn't let myself get swept away now.
それにリミは僕に同情してくれてた。それならむしろやらしてくれるべきだ。
Bro.
犯せよ。
Bro.
死ぬ前に童貞捨てようよ。ダメだ
Bro. Those inner voices. I yelled, as though to break through my inner weakness, as though to hurl it all away. Thankfully, I made the voice in my heart go away. Before me, Rimi had stopped crying as well. And she lowered the hands covering her face. She gave me a cold, brief glance.
つまんない男。
Those empty eyes are scary. That single sentence filled with the inside of my head with bar-tank emotion. When I launched myself at her. Oh! Bro! With a mind-blowing momentum, a colossal stake burst up to the concrete floor. It's a sharp point impaled me in the crotch. In the crotch, you know. That was well deserved after thinking that stuff. I couldn't swallow what was happening. My legs hovered in the air. I couldn't run away even if I wanted to. The stake steadily ate its way into my body. Ghastly pain, but not enough to kill me. The stake continued extending, hoisting me up about a meter above the ground. I stirred, pain shot through my crotch, became incapable of movement. I wanted to help. I sent bleeding eyes down at Rimi below me. She walked over to notice it without taking a glance at me, and she crouched down there with a thump, as though worn out. Both Norose and Rimi watched me up here, me and my shame. They simply watched me, expressionless. They didn't attempt to help me.
知っていますか？かつて拷問刑として串刺しは世界中のあちこちで用いられていました。この拷問の特徴は死ぬまで3日ほどかかるということです。
Days to die. It can take up days to die. Bro.
自らの体重によって徐々にその杭は体に食い込んでいく。ポイントは杭の先端はそれほど尖らせないことです。それにより臓器を傷つけることがなくなり、死ぬまでの期間が延びるわけです。最終的に杭の先端が口や肩から突き破れば処刑は終了。
I unfortunately don't know the name of the soundtrack.
見守っていてあげますよ。3日間。あなたが死ぬまでね。彼女も同じ考えのようですし。もっともその前に胸や腕の傷のせいで失血死に至る方が早いかもしれませんが。
This was a delusion, I told myself. A delusionary attack. Yes, probably. Or yes, but actually no, or I don't know. In reality, I wasn't impaled on anything. I was just standing still in front of Noah too. I was merely seeing an illusion, so I believed. I had to believe it. 3 days. 3 days of suffering like Christ. 42 hours. 4,320 minutes. I'm not gonna read that. If I could tolerate that much, this delusion would come to an end. It would have to end. It'd be so much easier if I could at least fall asleep or pass out, I thought to myself. But I couldn't, the pain wouldn't let me. That was precisely what made it torture. Yeah, torture is torture because it's long. And people die if they're killed. I'd go crazy if this continued, even though a second ago I thought about enduring it. Now, in a shift, I lapsed into despair. That's a ball. When I considered the vast quantity of time left before I died, every emotion other than despair went rushing out of me. Just kill me. I wondered how much time had passed. There was no clock, so I didn't know what time it was. I wanted to see a clock, but if I did, the slowness of the hand's progression would probably break my spirit. I clenched my teeth together. Sweat trickled down all over me like a waterfall and made my throat go parched. Once in a while I moistened it by swallowing coughed up blood. Inside my body I felt the stake gradually push aside my viscera, burying itself deeper. I definitely felt it. It was a countdown toward death. With this, it would finally surge up to my shredded chest. It would go further, skirting itself up to my neck. But if he needs him as a code sample, does he just need his like genetic code, or what kind of stuff? I don't know. He needs him for something, but so surely he can't let him die. So notice I can't let Thingy die, or boy, because he still needs him for something. A brainwave generated by gigalomaniacs when using their powers. I was going out of my mind. Pain and fear. At intervals about 5 minutes apart, I kept fainting and getting woken up by the pain. At the intervals of about 5 minutes apart, he doesn't have a clock. How does he know at the intervals? So, what I learned from it was when I fainted, my body relaxed. In other words, the stake began eating into me faster. Naturally, the pain also increased beyond the point of comparison, and that pain would then rouse me. My trapped body would writhe in agony. I'd faint to escape it. It was the worst of all vicious cycles, and it kept repeating. Can we please just skip the suffering and get to the good part? Even when I opened my eyes, everything was a constant blur. For some reason, it felt like the pain had softened a little too. My sight was dim. I thought maybe it was night. There was no window in this dome, so that had nothing to do with it. I figured it was most likely I'd lost too much blood. It was only a little bit, but blood went on trickling from my chest and left arm. The more of this blood would drip out, Maybe I'd be able to die peacefully out of bloodlust before I died from behind impaled. When that occurred to me, I made an effort to swing around my left arm, crushed from the elbow down. But it wouldn't move. The nerves in it had surely died long ago. Was this really a delusion? When would it end? Was it really going to end? What had made me believe it was a delusion in the first place? How did I know it was a delusion? What if it were reality? After enduring it, I'd only die. There'd be no meaning in enduring it. But was I gonna endure it anyway? How stupid. Moronic. I was an idiot. Die. Not die. Die. I ought to die right away. I had enough of this pain. I had enough of this suffering. Bite your tongue off, do it, and things will become easier for you right off the bat. Let me go already. This is a delusion, isn't it? In it.
死んだ。
The amount of blood hemorrhaging from my chest increased. I was losing the ability to breathe. No matter how much I tried to suck in oxygen, my throat just made this dumb bass sound, kind of like faint whistling. When I looked down, I could see the stake peeking through the wound in my chest. I violently vomited blood. My mouth flapped open like a goldfish all the while. As I sought oxygen, I was relieved at the prospect of dying soon.
そろそろですね。
Nora's his voice. His presence right in front of my nose. I couldn't see him. My eyes didn't reflect anything anymore, as I'd been impaled for such a long time. Supposed to continue agony. I'd utterly forgotten what he and Remy even existed. I wondered if Remy were still nearby. Not that it mattered. I was preoccupied with inhaling. For some time now I'd been spending all the strength of my body and every one of my nerves on that labor.
君が無事死ぬ前に彼女を始末しておきましょう。
No, you won't. Didn't quite get what he was saying. I couldn't afford to think about it.
私を殺すの？
へえ、そういうことです。遺言をどうぞ。
ごめん、タクのこと助けてあげられなかった。
I heard Remy's dying wail. The sound of someone falling. He'd shot Remy to death, I thought. It didn't stir my emotions. I had other things to deal with. I went back to the work of breathing. And in the process, I astounded myself. What meaning was in this kind of thing? For what purpose was I frenetically breathing? Wasn't this far too much? Something hot trailed down my cheeks. I might have been crying, but I had no way to know for sure. But with only a little bit of left out of 3 days I was supposed to withstand, I'd lost my reason for struggling and enduring and coming this far. I'm sorry, Remy. I'm the one who should apologize. I wasn't able to protect you. There was no longer any meaning in being alive. I released the tension in my body. The speed at which I sank lower, propelled by my weight, increased. The sensation of a foreign object in my throat. It was utterly impossible to breathe. Something was pushing through me. I came back to myself. The feeling of something foreign inside me had vanished. I wasn't impaled onto anything. The only bloody parts of me were my chest and my left arm. How much of it had been a delusion? My brain's processing speed couldn't keep up with things. I couldn't grasp my situation. Before me was Nora's and he'd raised his D-sword.
帰ってきましたか。あなたが体験した3日間は現実では1秒しか経っていませんが。
やっぱり妄想。
Wow. But I muttered to myself in relief. Nora's D-swords flashed like a gale of wind. My upper body and lower body... My upper body and lower body slid apart. My field of sight tilted. From the waist down I was standing on the ground. Yet from the waist up I had fallen. I'd been cloven in two at the torso. The cross section where it cut me was all well to clean. Well, I stared blankly at the lower half of my body, a reality I didn't want to acknowledge. Was this a delusion too? It'd be nice if it were. Please be a delusion. Remy was calling me in a grief-stricken voice, calling me.
その状態でも死ぬまで数分は持つはずです。元医師である私が言うのだから確かですよ。その間にコードサンプルを取ることにしましょうか。
Crawled, using only my right hand to pull myself forward. In the direction of Remy's voice. I wanted to touch Remy. I wanted to save Remy. Remy! My right hand forward and forward. I stretched it, but I didn't know where Remy was. I didn't reach her. I didn't reach anywhere.
しぶとい男だ。
Crunch. The sensation of bones grinding. Notice his leather shoe had stepped on the back of my outstretched right hand.
さすが化け物と言うべきですか。
そのノロセの足が蜃気楼のように揺れた。そのノロセの足が蜃気楼のよう、床のタイルの模様がぼんやりとし始めて、天地が回転する。床と天井が逆になる。僕は天井に這いつくばっている。両断された腰からものすごい勢いで血が噴き出す。全開にした蛇口のように。血が体から抜けていく。そのまま腕の傷口を通って内臓までが流れ出る。意識がスーッと遠くなる。でも完全には途切れない。血だまりができて、僕はそのシンクの海に身を横たえている。ドクン、ドクンと鼓動する心臓が僕の目の前に転がっていて、血だまりに波紋を作り、その波紋をぼんやり見ていたら、僕の形が崩れた。人としての形を維持できない。 僕と世界との境界が消失する。肉が溶け、骨がゴムのように曲がり、眼球は四角になり、口から裏返った肺がこぼれ出し、神経は数万キロメートルも引っ張られ、脳はシワの一つ一つを丁寧に伸ばされ、体はブヨブヨになる。空気に溶けていく。右手が糸のように伸びて、プラネタリウムを出ていく。それは飴細工のように、渋谷の空をさまよって、コーネリアスタワーにくるくる巻きつく。何度も何度も何度も分かれた足が膨れてる。ブクブクと水風船みたい。パンパンに皮膚が伸びてギチギチ。液状化。肉も骨もとろけてふくらはぎに溜まってる。腰からニョキって小さな頭が生えて、ぎょろりとした白い目が僕を見たよ。そしたら僕の頭がぐしゃって潰された。どっちの頭かはよくわかんない。潰れてトロトロになって、ビルの床、コンクリートの分子の隙間を抜けて落ちていく。地上へビューって地面に作るどろりとしたもぞもぞもごもごジュルジュルドロドロプルプルビヨンビヨンビチャビチャぐじゅぐじゅぐちゃりぐちゃり。僕は二つが四つになる。四つが八つになる。
Binary.
八つが四つに。二つが八つに。四つが四つに。どんどん増えて、どんどん減る。僕がいっぱい。僕がいない。僕は何？僕って何？僕何？何区がナボにナボ
What I?
ボになくぼな
君は妄想なんかじゃないよ。
れだ。
見てごらん。
西条七海が祈る。兄と共に収容された病院。怪我人があふれた待合室の片隅にうずくまり、実の兄のしわくちゃの手を握りしめて、右手の痛みに耐えて、目を閉じて祈るもう一人の兄の無事を。楠木優愛が祈る。倒壊したビルの瓦礫。彼の美少女フィギュアの一つを握りしめて、地震と火事で醜く変形してしまったフィギュアたちの姿に感じた胸の痛みに耐え、
The end is happening.
目を閉じて祈る。 彼女を許してくれた少年の無事を。岸本綾瀬が祈る。避難所となっている水明学園。その校舎の屋上で空を見上げて、神話が書かれた文庫本を握りしめて、崩壊した渋谷を覆う不特定多数の妄想が見せる悪意の痛みに耐え、目を閉じて祈る。
What's happening?
彼女の歌を、彼女の話を聞いてくれた少年の無事を。折原新鮮駅の薄暗いホーム。青い瀬名の震える手を握りしめて、足の傷の痛みに耐えて、目を閉じて祈る。心の声で語り合ったクラスメートの少年の無事を。青い瀬名が祈る。横たわる父の傍らに座り、父の冷たくなった手を握りしめて、最後まで素直になれなかった後悔の痛みに耐えて目を祈る。彼女のお願いに不器用ながら答えようとしてくれた少年の無事を。咲畑りみが祈る。冷たい彼へ伸ばした自らの手をきつく握りしめて、傷だらけの彼の姿を見て感じた。目を閉じて祈る。自分が守ろうとした、自分を助けに来てくれた少年の無事を。
僕は何もできなかった。君が行動したんだ。その結果としてみんなが君のことを見てきた。君という周囲共通認識はとっくに出来上がっているんだ。これからは、いや、もうすでに君こそが。
僕は、君は誰？君は僕。
The finale! It's happening! This is where I have to put my save point. This is... Finally. Yeah, I am weak.
Boku wa kimi.
I am you.
僕なんていない。君なんていない。僕は僕じゃない。
あなたは鬼。
You are my bro.
あなたは西条くん。君は匠。あなたは匠さん。
お前は西条。
あなたはタク。
僕は僕。僕は妄想の存在。僕は存在する。僕は西条匠。僕はその声が聞こえた瞬間に意識が僕を固定した。ぐちゃぐちゃにかき回されていた世界が一気に収束する。混沌は僕の理想度を形作って収束する。僕は僕としての形に戻る。世界は世界としての形に戻る。僕は僕だ。
My body had healed. My upper and lower halves were connected. I stood on my own feet. The pain had utterly disappeared. My heart was calm and still.
妄想によく打ち勝ったね。
You don't-
僕の最後の力を君に託すよ。
I recognized Rimi's form at the corner of my eye. She was unhurt. She was looking at me. She was crying. Don't cry. I tensed the hand with which I held my D-sword. D-sword's hilt. I tested the sensation of it. My arms moved properly and I completely come back to life.
これは実に興味深いですよ。この化け物。
Kono bakemono. I fixed my eyes on Norase.
確かに僕は化け物だよ。
In order to rescue Rimi, in order
でも
to
これが
destroy Nora too.
僕が望んだ妄想だ。
Nora's reaction was swift. He had yet to take Nanami Nishi. He had yet to take Nishijo Takumi's code sample. Nora's had meant to drive him into a corner via his delusionary psychological attacks, but instead, he himself had been made to trip up. He couldn't afford to forgive that. Notice to close the gap between himself and Takumi. He slashed upward with his D-sword, moving it diagonally. He sliced Takumi across the chest with his D-sword, which severed all manner of things. The target's hardness made no difference. Cutting down a mere human being was as simple as cutting through jelly. At Notice's swift blow, Takumi's body divided. His head and his right arm, his right shoulder, slid apart with a slithering noise. All his intestines spilled down to the floor, but no blood emerged. Takumi's lower body was on the verge of collapse. He started bracing his legs. It braced his legs. The next instant, waves beat across the severed surface of the wound. It screamed. A bubbling noise. And he regenerated. Unhurt, unaffected. His body, which had been cut down in merely a second ago, had already brought into being a new neck, a new right hand and shoulder. His old head and intestines remained where they had slipped and fallen.
痛覚は遮断した。
Takumi took a step closer to Norase. Norase clicked his tongue. He turned his D-sword around.
肉体の形を捨てたがゆえに、いかなる形をも取れるということですか。
あんたの見せてくれた妄想のおかげだよ。
Being unable to maintain his shape as a human being, Takumi had co-opted that delusion and made it his own. This wasn't regeneration, this was replenishment. As for his lost body parts, out of the dust infinitely multiplying from within him, Takumi once again produced flesh and bones. He replenished himself. His form wasn't set. He was like an amoeba, like slime. It could freely change itself. That was the reason Takumi had called himself a monster. Takumi's feet took another step toward Norase. Norase's irritation increased. Clenching the grip of his D-sword, he lunged at the approaching Takumi, catching Takumi's head in what resembled a giant pair of scissors.
脳を失えば妄想はできないでしょう。
Takumi's head smashed inward. A cracked watermelon. Blood and brain fluid exploded. He lost everything above his neck. Even then, Takumi's body continued forward. Regeneration, replenishment, it happened in a second. When his heel, which had been stepping forward, touched the floor, it was as though nothing had happened. As though he had been wholly replaced. His head was there without a single scratch on it. Honestly, I woke to the fact that he couldn't defeat him. Physical attacks with his D-sword would have no effect. Takumi had co-opted the illusionary attacks that denied his very reason for existence. The current Nishijou Takumi was all too abnormal as a human, all too warped as an existence, all too appropriate as a monster. Even so, Norase didn't bring himself to withdraw. He thought it would be best to utilize Noah too, pummeling Takumi with an infinite number of anti-particles. Every kind of existence would transform into negative matter when confronted by anti-particles, therefore arising of it at self-collapse. If it were impossible to destroy him without side attacks, then one simply had to make him crumble from within.
そうなんだね。
Takumi had read Norase's thoughts. The light shining from Takumi's D-sword changed from red to black. Like flames enveloped his sword, rolling, lengthening. The image they evoked was precisely that of a black serpent.
そして現れるのよ。
Wandering the dome interior as if it felt cramped, as though licking the roof and the floor, as though scraping away at them. It ate and ate.
邪神の黒き大蛇。あらゆる崩壊を飲み込み、邪神王の身を砕くことのできる。同質にして異質なるものが。
The serpent body had formed from anti-particles. It forced everything it touched to undergo self-collapse. Such an avaricious stream of destruction.
触手芸はあんまり好みじゃないけど。
Standing there, Takumi held his D-sword. Its point was fixed in Norase's direction. The black snake, which had been called up, lashed its body out like a whip. Its jaws snapped at Norase.
まさかこれほどとは。
Norase had never before witnessed such a phenomenon coming from a D-sword. He couldn't determine whether this was a hidden power belonging to Gigalomaniacs or part of Takumi's delusion. Black fangs invaded Norase's body. He began to collapse, so sluggishly, like a frog gradually dissolving inside the snake's belly. It was being swallowed by darkness. He felt no pain. Normally, this would have led to his death in an instant. But that wasn't what Takumi wished for. Realizing this, Norase twisted his lips self-disparagingly. Norase had no dread of death. It would be fair to say that the ideals he aimed for had been achieved together with the completion of Noah 2.
私を殺してもノア2には誰も近づけない。永久期間なんですよ、それは。人類を未来永劫にわたって管理し続ける。ただ座して眺めているだけではない、人の幸福のために干渉してくる人工の神なのです。
Noah was, so to speak, God's creator. As long as Noah 2 remained in existence, humanity would be indestructible. The eternal utopia Noah had desired would become a reality. However,
あんたなら近づけるんでしょ。
you can approach it, can't you?
何？
The snake that held Norris's undulated his body, raising him higher.
それならあんたは鍵だ。
Norris was dumbfounded, but that soon shifted into an expression of anguish. The serpent swings his body with almost no resistance. Takumi took a glance at Rimi. Their eyes met. Noraseme passed Noraseme and Takumi took a glance at Rimi. Their eyes met. What did Rimi feel as she looked at him? It would have been a simple matter to read her heart, but Takumi didn't do it. It seems like I've been able to save you. He soon averted his eyes. His gaze moved to the still buzzing Noah 2, a deity's unapproachable throne. A cradle for the display of happy dreams. He apologized to no one in
僕
particular.
は人類にとっての敵かもね。
The endless utopia this way is what bring about a future without war. Takumi is going to nip it in the bud with his own two hands. He couldn't provide the answer as to whether that was right or
でも
wrong.
神話でもよくあるでしょう。神だって女絡みでうだうだやってる。だから僕も
Will sacrifice the happiness of all humanity for the sake of the girl I love. Holding his D-sword, Takumi drew his arms far back, almost in the shape of a bow.
突き破れ
He thrust it like a javelin. The dark serpent rushed ahead in furious straight line. So he smashes Norase into Noah 2. As its tip bit into Norase, its bait, it went to Noah 2. A massive spear of anti-particles capable of annihilating anything. It had no will of its own, therefore nothing about it could be warped. The greed-ridden destructive impulse with Norase as its key faced a barrier made of delusions and immediately battered it away. Oh! I know this screen. A violent explosion had taken place. Yeah, Hata, that's the grand finale of ChäoS Head. Violent explosion had taken place. The best from it had sent me. If I knew it, I was there. Those eyes were always watching me. The stare pierces through the rain clouds with coated in pitch black. It pours down on me like... The video of Norris's D-sword disintegrating didn't play apparently, so this is missing. My body won't stop trembling, but it's more like cold rubble I'm sitting on in the chill of the rain. It's horribly cold. An anonymous gaze from the heavens pierces me. As if to escape it, I raise my head ever so slightly, surveying my surroundings. Therein lies a shattered city. Therein lies despair. Therein lies death. Therein lies nothingness. This should be 2.5. Yeah, it's 2.5, at least what the title bar says. No one is there. No one is here. No one is moving. No one is alive. All I can hear is the sound of the rain continuing to fall. If everything remains this way, both alive and dead, will it all be gently enveloped and washed away? It'd be nice if everything that happened was all a delusion, but it seems that that's not the case. My body won't move. My body, I can barely move my neck and eyes. I can no longer use such monstrous power as I did before. I'm trembling, but that's no more than a physiological phenomenon. The action is involuntary. I don't want to shiver like this. If I can't move it freely, then it isn't my body. It's as if I was never born with my own free will. No one knows where it is where it is the soul is kept. Despite that, how can anyone say for sure that my soul is inside my body? But if that's the case, then where am I? Am I here? Am I nowhere? Suddenly, a sound that isn't the rain of death resounds throughout this broken world where everything remains at a standstill. The source comes floating out of the midst of nothingness. Who are you? The reason your skin appears so pale, is it because you're frozen from the coldness of the rain? Or is it because you're already dead? But she isn't trembling. And those eyes, almost hidden by her bangs. Don't look at me. They seem terribly sad. They seem infused with madness. They seem to reflect nothing. If she and I are the only ones in this world, if we continue gazing solely at each other like this for the rest of eternity, would my world be reduced to what her eyes reflect? Would her world be reduced to what my eyes reflect? I am what's reflected in her eyes. She's what's reflected in mine. When I think about it that way, the world instantly becomes much smaller.
ねえ、
Beautiful noise that abruptly reaches my ears. She hangs her head, and spreads her arms apart. You can hear at least the rain, but yeah. It's like she's trying to take off and fly away, taking him above the clouds. Taking him above the clouds. Or it's as if she were to catch all of the rain.
あなたを見つめる。妄想。
Movie's not working. Well, this is a die patch With the way she hangs her head, there's no way I can tell the expression on her face. What kind of face are you making beyond that thin film of rain?
殺してあげる。
Angel? I already do have K-Light. Those feathers of light that dance wildly, are they giving me a blessing? Or maybe... Ah, I see. I understand. She'll use that to kill me. She slowly kneels down where I lay. Even now, her head remains lowered. She softly reaches to embrace my head. Relieved that she isn't looking at me, I simply surrender my body to her.
殺さなくちゃいけないの。
I whispered in my ear, a beautiful noise.
ごめん。ごめんね。
There is nothing to apologize for. If I don't disappear, the other me, the real me, will die. So I'm fine with this. I'm glad you're going to erase me. It's a happy ending for a monster. I no longer have any regrets. The background static is the rain in the game. Much like anesthesia, at my mysterious, my trembling gradually calms down. A faint breath tickles my cheek with a very sweet scent. And then I feel a pressure on my chest. The great sword she carries, steering through the skin of my chest, boring into my flesh, threading between my bones, and steadily sinking its way into my body. Yet, not by the anesthesia of your kiss, I no longer feel any pain. Yeah, and two is the devil. If you kill me so gently like this, I'll suddenly fall into anguish, and tears will flow from my eyes. To keep her from noticing, I look past her head, up the dark grey sky that continues to pour rain on us. That continues to pour rain on us, and you don't see any rain. Nice bugs. Just the question is, which codec is missing? Why the A and NPC is unnecessary? Because the game would just roll credits here. Okay, thank you for telling us. So I'm not doing the A ending. Removing her lips from mine, Rimi spoke
やっぱ
painfully.
りタクを殺せないよ。
The reason I didn't feel any pain was because her sword hadn't been real booted. My body wasn't injured anywhere.
でも消してくれなきゃ。
How long would it take to speedrun the B ending? And where does the B ending diverge?
本物の僕が。
He would die. He was the one who should die. And thus we needed to prolong his life, even if only by a little. That ought to have been Rimi's goal as well.
消して。
Erase me.
消すんだ。僕を。
By the way, does anybody know the fix for the missing rain? Am I just missing a codec or something?
できない。
Remy gave a small shake of her head. She watched me with wavering eyes. I had the issue with the opening video, with the opening sequence as well, like when I first started it.
好きなの。あなたの弱さが好き。
Aww.
弱いくせに好きなの。好きなの。好きなの。好きなの。好きなの。臆病なくせにボロボロになって好きなの。好きなの。好きなの。好きなの。好きなの。
Oh,
私
that
なんか
burned.
助けに来てくれたその強さが好きなの。
Those eyes are Skinner's eyes. Okay.
あなたと同じ時間をもっと過ごしたいの。あなたを失いたくない。あなたに生きていてほしい。
僕は化け物なんだ。
私だって同じだよ。
君がそれを選んだなら、生きていていいんだ。
Heard a voice from the sky. Then I knew, because our hearts were directly connected. I sensed it. The fact that his life had disappeared now, in this very instant.
匠が死んだんだね。
Jimmy was quick to pick up on the emotion that had emerged in my expression. After some brief hesitation, I nodded a tiny bit. Don't cry. I don't want you to cry. Feeling returned to my body. Warmth returned to me. I was still clumsy. I was still trembling. I reached toward my heart with my hand, which was now capable of moving, and took out the vermilion handkerchief. Which anime? Tears running down your cheeks. Those drops, so lovely and clear. I wiped them softly with the memory you gave me.
僕も君が好きです。
Remy held into my hand for dear life. As though to ascertain that we were here. Our warmth was contagious. Our separate temperatures melted together. The two of us looked up at the sky. As expected, it was covered in rain clouds. But
光は電磁波の波。その振動現象を人の視覚は色として捉える。
タク、その言葉。
words only he and Remy knew. The words with which he had given Remy hope. But I knew them too, because I'd seen all his memories. But he and I shared the same soul, the same heart. Our memories belonged to both of us. I had inherited the memories of his 17 years of life until now. And he had vicariously experienced the memories of my year and a half of life until now.
自分のデッドスポットに望む色を当てはめれば、僕たちのあの空の色は取り戻せる。
We knew that color because in an imagined world containing only the sea and the sky, we had looked up at it and burned it into our memories. The rain abruptly stopped. The clouds vanished instantaneously. It was clearing up, it was coming back. The blue sky, seeming as though it would draw us in endlessly, covering this world so gently. The blue sky,